Have you ever noticed that the sponge sitting by your kitchen sink barely gets a second thought? It soaks up spills, gets squeezed dry, and goes right back to work without complaint. Its texture feels almost alive, soft, springy, full of tiny holes that seem to appear out of nowhere. Run water over it, and it swells instantly as if it were breathing. But have you ever wondered how something so simple is actually made? Because underneath that ordinary yellow rectangle is a surprisingly precise chemical process, timed down to the second, controlled with an accuracy most people would never expect. Let's take a closer look, right here on Simply Understood. Most sponges people use today aren't grown or harvested. They're manufactured, built from raw liquid chemicals that don't resemble a sponge in any way. The process usually begins with a mixture of polyurethane, a flexible plastic-like compound, combined with water and a handful of specialized additives. On their own, none of these ingredients resemble the finished product. They start as thick, syrupy liquids, poured carefully into large mixing tanks under controlled conditions. The transformation begins the moment these liquids meet. A chemical reaction starts almost instantly, releasing gas as a byproduct. That gas is the real secret behind a sponge's structure. As it forms, it creates millions of tiny bubbles throughout the liquid mixture, and the surrounding material begins to expand and rise, almost like bread dough left in a warm oven. Within seconds, this liquid mass foams upward, sometimes rising several feet inside massive industrial molds, growing far larger than the amount of liquid originally poured in. This is where timing becomes critical. If the chemical reaction happens too quickly, the bubbles collapse before the structure can set, leaving a dense, uneven mass. Too slowly, and the mixture spreads unevenly, creating weak spots. Manufacturers control temperature, humidity, and chemical ratios with extreme precision to make sure the foam rises at just the right pace, locking in a consistent, repeatable pattern of holes across the entire block. Once the foam expands and stabilizes, it hardens into a large block, sometimes called a bun, weighing hundreds of pounds and standing taller than a person. These buns are left to cure for a period of time, allowing the chemical reaction to finish completely and the structure to settle into its final form. This is where the deeper layer of the process reveals itself. Those tiny holes aren't random gaps scattered through the material. They're interconnected chambers, formed by gas expanding in every direction at once, pushing against neighboring bubbles until walls merge into open channels. This interconnected structure is what allows a sponge to absorb liquids so efficiently. Water doesn't just sit on the surface waiting to be pushed in. It gets pulled through a maze of internal pathways, drawn in by capillary action. The same physical force that lets tree roots pull water upward against gravity, fighting it without any external pressure at all. After the foam block cools and fully cures, it's sliced into thin sheets using long, precise blades, almost like cutting a giant loaf of bread into even slices. Each sheet becomes the base for dozens of individual sponges. Machines then stamp out the familiar rectangular shapes, and in many household sponges, a thin, coarse layer is bonded to one side. That rougher layer isn't foam at all. It's typically made from a nylon or polyester fiber mesh, embedded with mineral abrasives. It's manufactured separately on an entirely different production line, then fused to the foam using heat and adhesive, giving the sponge its two distinct working surfaces, one soft and absorbent, the other built for scrubbing away what water alone cannot remove. Here's where the bigger picture comes in. This entire manufacturing process reflects a broader pattern in industrial design. Engineers rarely start by trying to replicate nature exactly. Instead, they study a natural function, like the swelling of a sea sponge or the branching of a lung, and then reverse engineer an artificial process that produces a similar structural outcome using entirely different materials and mechanisms. So, the next time you pick up a sponge, notice how ordinary it feels in your hand. Yet for a few brief seconds during its creation, It was something else entirely. A rising, expanding chemical reaction, caught and frozen at exactly the right moment before it ever had the chance to become anything else.